We're with American Family.
We're with American Family.
We're with American Family.
Because American Family is with us.
American Family Insurance Agents.
Live and work right in the community.
Right in the neighborhood.
So they care about us
and the neighborhood.
Service is professional.
The handling of claims is quick.
And the peace of mind is wonderful.
We're with American Family.
We're with American Family.
American Family Insurance.
All your protection.
Under one roof.
American Family Insurance.
Focus on Diversity with Troy Shaw.
Hello, I'm Troy Shaw, your host for Focus on Diversity. Let's go directly into introducing our guest. First, we have Karen Otteson. She is the president and CEO of Karen Otteson and Associates. Next, we have Christopher Carter. He's the president and CEO of CCI. And our good friend, Robert Miranda, editor of the Milwaukee Spanish Journal. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into our first diversity topic. Pulled off the air, Hamas militants have suspended a TV program that featured a Mickey Mouse lookalike urging Palestine children to fight against Israel and work for global Islamic domination. Information Minister Mustafa Boshati said that the character represented a mistaken approach to the Palestinian struggle against Israel's occupation. Now you have Palestine pulling television programs off the air for what some may say is their whole idealistic way of thinking about Israel. What do you think about that?
Well, what can you say?
It's just interesting.
It is an attempt to copy Captain America, our way of life around the world. But they used a rodent to pursue this. It was totally anti-Israel. And it doesn't really do justice for their cause, nor does it ever give them an opportunity for the world to listen to their message when they got nonsense like this out there.
Yeah,
this just was very, very out of line.
Chris, I think this was more about trying to stay away from mainstream-oriented paraphernalia, if you want to call it that.
Are you kidding? They copied Mickey Mouse.
But to stay away from that and just stick to the same kind of rhetoric that they typically
Oh, yeah, they moved away from the same rhetoric that they always use, but it is still the same rhetoric. Now they're targeting children with Mickey Mouse. It was wrong. They were right to pull it off. They've got their own way that... Yes, they've got their plight, and they need to provide that forward in a media type of fashion. But unfortunately, using a Mickey Mouse character aiming at children is just wrong. And I'm glad somebody there has actually got the smarts to realize that over there.
I don't think that this was done by the minister over there. I don't think this was done by Minister Mustafa because there was, because they just thought it was wrong. I think they did it because they didn't want to use Western-oriented tactics to get their point across. That's what my thought is. What do you think, Karen?
Well, I used to work for Mattel Toys for many years. I would fear Disney and licensing rights at this point for their television show.
Going after in Palestine, them suing Palestine, they're going to get any money. These people aren't going to pay up.
Licensing rights are powerful. Don't
but
mess
what do you
with
think,
it.
though? Do you think that this was probably
it's
more
a
the
wrong
reason?
tactic? I agree with Chris in that targeting children with animated characters and fluffy stuffed animal characters or movie characters is offensive on all levels.
I think so as well. But my point being, ladies and gentlemen, here is that I honestly think that this was done because they didn't want to use a Western-oriented tactic to get their point across to their kids. If it's going to be done, it's going to be done by someone in the Muslim faith. Would you say so?
Well, sure, and it should be done with something that reflects what their culture is all about. But I think that it was just tacky. It was out of line, and it just did a total injustice to the whole Palestinian cause.
Okay. And we're going to be moving on to the next subject here. Culture factors. African Americans aren't the only people to feel the effects of cultural impediments, but they are at the top of the list for having bad health. The American Obesity Association said that the culture factors related to diet, exercise, and weight among African Americans play a role in interfering with weight loss efforts. Chris, I'm going to start with you. You're a person that one could probably say is in good health and what have you. The American Obesity Association is saying right now that African Americans aren't really watching their weight. What's your thoughts?
Well, they need to look at their BMI. Heck, I was obese.
What's a BMI?
BMI is an index that they use, your body mass index. So they call it their BMI index. I was at 240 pounds a couple of months ago, and I was considered obese. I'm 6'3", 240. I'm now 6'3", 222, and I'm still considered to be overweight. So sometimes you need to look into the study and see what they're utilizing for those measures. I know several friends of mine, Latinos, African Americans, they're about the same height, same weight, and they're considered obese. So they would be, as part of the same study, they would be considered obese by the BMI index. So you need to look at the study and really find out what the motive is, or what the parameters are.
We broadcast this television program over the internet, and there's been even occasions where people have said that we all who are on this program are somewhat overweight for whatever particular reasons. I don't know why. I mean, I think we all look pretty good. But Robert, what's some of your thoughts?
Well, speaking as an overweight man, I really don't care. I'm happy with who I am. Now, the idea that the study comes out saying that people in the community don't care, no, it's not about people in the community not caring. What needs to be done is more resources in the community need to be in the community so that more people are educated about these issues. You don't have that much resources in the black community, health, wellness centers, all these other areas where people can go, get information, and do dieting or exercising. You don't see that much in these neighborhoods because, again, these neighborhoods are riddled in poverty. And nobody puts these kinds of programs in these kinds of neighborhoods. And that's why it's important to build these neighborhoods up economically. Because once you attract the economics there, you attract these kind of programs into the neighborhood. And then you could hopefully start fighting this obesity issue that is infecting and spreading throughout these poverty-ridden areas in the black community.
You know, I thought if they let him go for a little longer, I'm sure he would have rerouted that towards being the fault of President Bush. Because I heard it coming. It was coming. What do you think, Karen? Here's some of your thoughts.
You know, I think there is a concern, particularly for children. You know, the physical education programs in school, I think, have been minimized. Kids don't walk to school anymore. You know, just a whole host of changes. I think in that study, if I recall, actually 68% of all the population in America is considered overweight or obese. Wow. But obviously those incidences in minority populations, and a lot of that, I think, stems back to the family structure. If mom's not at home, because she's working and there's no one preparing meals at home that are nutritionally well balanced. If, you know, traditionally I think in the African American family, if there was a grandma in the home, that type of thing, and that family structure is impacting the way we live, the way we gather as a family. People don't gather together at the table, so it's fast food city, and that's not good for anybody.
Well, my BMI does indicate that I currently at my weight right now, being about 5'8" and 205, 206, is considered to be overweight. I mean, there is some questions about diabetes that all people can get, Robert, in regards to this. So isn't there's a question is that should we be more concerned about our weight? Should I be upset at any individual who would let their weight go? Because I got to think about the health concerns and the medical things that individual is going to go through.
I don't know why you should be concerned about the way overweight people look. My whole idea is if an individual is overweight, he's the one who's got to deal with it. She's the one who's got to deal with it. It has nothing to do with what I think about somebody being overweight should live like. It's their life, and as was stated before, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's the way they see about attaining that, then let it be.
Well, I like Focus on Diversity weighing heavy on your minds every single week. And when we come back, we're going to weigh even heavier. Stay with Focus on Diversity. We'll be right back.
Since 1985, Sprecher Brewing Company has been committed to brewing a diverse variety of quality beers and sodas. Along with their commitment to a diverse product, they also have a strong commitment to diversity. Sprecher Brewing Company is proud to be a sponsor of the Focus on Diversity program. We are honored to participate in Milwaukee's great brewing tradition, and we're grateful for the opportunity to present our best to you.